Let me introduce you to Bo Miles, a unique and likable guy. Everyday life, friends and family makes up the artist's dream.
Here we are, another episode of the artistry of I am your host, Bo Miles, and today we are going to talk about so some of the things that's been on my mind. My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. I went to check my reviews, right, on iTunes. And this is just something that I don't even know why I went to check them, but I just went to just look at them. And I just want to thank you guys, I really do, because you kind of forget that you even have listeners. You really kind of forget, and just looking at my reviews, it just made me so happy, just so, and I can't even just say happy, but I felt vindicated. Not that I was oppressed or anything, or people was doubting me. It was not even that, but I just got a sense of continuation, right? So of confirmation, I should say. So not even a vindication, but of confirmation. I just got a feeling of yeah, man, you out there and you're providing something for the people, right? Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, you just need something to listen to, so you're tuning in, and I just want to thank you for that, because it gives me the motivation to keep going, right? Continuation. It's like, yeah, man. You have. Because I don't know why, but I was looking for my subscriber number, because, they'll say such and such, they're getting, well, they do it by downloads, right? They'll be such and such. Okay, you need 30,000 downloads a month. And then boom, then let the games begin. And, I'm so far, I just don't really see that happening for me, Yes, it could happen, right? But, that's hard, because I think the people who are getting those big numbers, they're already famous. And that was something that was, I think, an author, he was in one of those questionnaires. Hey, look, guys, get your questions together. And he was saying, look, man, you want to sell. I think he said the first thing you need to do before you write a book is become famous, right? So I think that's even true for podcasts. But like me, I'm not famous, and this is something that I just genuinely enjoy. I genuinely enjoy podcasts. I genuinely enjoy listening to different podcasts. So I listen to Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, that was my first podcast. That was my first. So I listen to comedians. That's my go-to. Is comedian podcast. I don't really see myself as a comedian. I don't think I could get on stage and tell jokes. I mean, I want to. I think one day I will, right? But who knows when? Like, just who knows? But that's like my go-to. You know, our comedians, and so we kicked it off with Joe Rogan, and I listened to him exclusively for like years. So this is before the Spotify deal, when he was on Apple, right? Because that's where I listen to most of my podcasts. Now I did download Spotify because of Joe Rogan, right? And I'll listen to like my other podcasts. Like, if let's say it was one that I really like, right? So we got Joe Rogan. He held the title for a long time. That was the only person I was listening to. And then I think, I was listening to him. But see, I listened to a lot of audiobooks. So that was at the time. Like, I don't really listen to him now because of my job. I'm not in a position to listen to him. But I think, maybe I can start listening to audiobooks. I think I can like rev it back up, because that was, that was something that I did. So it was the Joe Rogan podcast and then audiobooks, right? So I just listened to that, and I want to say maybe like, I don't know, 3 years later, then I started listening to Brendan Schaub and just his catalog. So you had the Food Truck Diaries, right? I believe, as I'm trying to think, like right now, I think it's just called the Brendan Schaub Show. I think that's what it's called. But I want to say that his first one, it was let me see, Below the Belt. Bam, that's what it was called. So Brendan's catalog I believe it was 3 of them. It was Below the Belt, The Fighter and the Kid, and King and the Sting. Right. So I'm listening to Joe Rogan, and then I started listening to those 3 from Brendan Schaub. And so I think that my podcast, and then I started listening into Godfrey, right? Which I really like. I really like Godfrey. So, but that was like maybe a year or 2 years after I started listening to Brendan Schaub, right? So we got Rogan, then we got Brendan, then we got Godfrey. And then recently, I like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I started listening to Tony Baker. Right now, he has a pod. I think he has a few podcasts, but I actually just started. I like converted from YouTube, and I want to say that was how it was for all of them. Except Brendan was a recommendation by one of my friends who was a fighter. And so he listened to Brendan because he's a fighter. He's training and really looking to get in on the scene, right? So that's how I got to those 2. And then Godfrey was YouTube, Tony Baker YouTube, right? And then we got Queen Flip, I want to say. I think it's called Queen's Flip, or it might be Queen Flip. But it's like he's like a hood interviewer, right? So it's not really based in comedy. But the main thing that I liked from him, it was an interview with Teflon Sean from DC. Because it's like, and I think everybody can relate to this, but you will go down a rabbit hole on YouTube, whether it's aliens or American gangsters or 2D fighting game strategy or just whatever, right? I mean, it's just, you can really go down a rabbit hole and start watching video after video after video and become, I mean, very knowledgeable in in whatever subject that you want, right? And so, you know, like, so I listen to podcasts. So I don't need to make money from podcasting in order for me to podcast, right? I don't have a campaign. I don't have none of that stuff. I just do it. But I have to, at some point, I think I have to try to grow, right? So I think I'll do that. I think I will try to grow and try to reach more and more people. Like, because right now I'm not trying, right? And you know, I should try, right? So, but reading those reviews, it definitely gave me just confirmation. It was like, man, you know, people are checking it out, right? And it takes a lot for a person to review, because you figure those podcasts that I named, I don't believe that I've reviewed any of them. Maybe I reviewed Joe Rogan. Maybe. So maybe I reviewed Joe Rogan. I don't believe that I reviewed King and the Sting. And that's my number one now, right? So like, since Joe Rogan left and just is on Spotify exclusively, I don't listen to him as much because I don't go on Spotify other than Joe Rogan. And it's only certain type of interviews. Now, see, back in the day, like, I would just listen to all of, like, any of them, whether it wouldn't matter the topic. It wouldn't matter. But I found that some of them, I just felt like, all right, I'm not going to pursue this, right? I'm not going to pursue this field. And it's like, you know, some of the episodes I just really don't care for. And it's not even that I don't like the subject matter, right? Because I see myself as a person who likes to learn as well, but the position that I'm in, like, I have to be learning something that I want to learn so that I can use it in the field that I'm trying to go in, that I'm trying to increase, right? Now, if he's just like any episodes where Joe Rogan is talking to a comedian, I'm on it. Conspiracy theorists, like that type of stuff, like, that's the type of stuff that I love, right? And I think that because of the show, one of his shows that he did, his belief in something different, like a alien and extraterrestrial, is just gone, really. Like, he wants to believe, but one of those shows, Joe Rogan Questions Everything, it just showed him how people will lie, right? People will lie. And it's really hard to imagine the depths that a person will lie and will know that they are lying. They know that they are lying, but yet they will go with this lie until death. They will take this lie to the grave. And this episode was actually going to talk about dreams, but I think maybe we can get there because, you know, we have time. But I really want to address the depths that people will go to maintain and conceal the truth, right? So they will maintain the lie to conceal the truth. And we're going to touch on it in the next episode when we talk about the Joker from The Dark Knight, because I'm actually getting ready to do that episode, and that's like a research type of episode that I need. So I need to watch it a few times before next week. I want to watch The Dark Knight a few times, and I took notes, and I have the outline in my head, but in there's a section where we will get to the lie, right? And people's thought that, okay, I'm going to use this lie to maintain a certain reality that I want and that I deem acceptable, right? And that's one of the things, like it's really unimaginable how much a person will lie. Like, you would think, just because you are a person, like, okay, a little lie. Did I eat the Reese cups? Okay. Did I drink my daughter's soda? Right. Drink some of it. Right. Did I drink some of her soda? And it's like, no, I didn't drink some of her soda. Right. If my wife has 7 Reese cups and I take one, or let's say I saw it on the counter or something, and I ate it, or I threw it away. Maybe it was open too long, and it's like, okay, who? I know somebody drank some of this soda, right? I know somebody ate or took a bite of this cookie or broke a piece off, right? But it's like, for whatever reason, like, I don't have a problem with saying, like, yeah, I did it, but let's just say I didn't. Let's say I had a problem, and I just don't want to say that I did. Maybe I'm supposed to be fasting, and to maintain that I'm fasting, I just say, okay, I'm like, nah, I don't know who drank a little bit of that soda. I don't know who broke off a piece of that cookie, right? And like, all right, I get that, okay, but that's still the same, right? That's still the same. That's still the essence of the lies that people will go to, and to maintain it until death, right? Until death. Like, so we were watching the Emmett Till story, and I really don't want to. I really don't watch it, right? If a show is on about it, and I think ABC did this one. I'm not really sure because we recorded it, but anytime the Emmett Till story is on, or anything on about Emmett Till, like, I don't even watch it. I don't watch it because it's just like man, right? It's like, that's horrible. And I am going to do an Emmett Till movie, but my movie is going to be like Passion of the Christ. But instead of starring Jesus, is going to star Emmett Till. So you will actually see him get beat to death. Right? So that's going to happen one day. But until then, and when that happens, I'll do all the research and get everything, the facts as far as we know, right? But in the Emmett Till story, in his story, and I didn't know this. So a journalist, and this, right now we're on lies, but a journalist said that, and this was published. So the way that I heard it, it was as if it was verbatim, right? So the journalist said that the lady, right, the white woman who was the cause of Emmett Till's death, and I can say that because, like whenever I'm talking to my daughter and she'll say something, right? She'll tell me, and even my son, like, back when they were kids, and they would say, well, such and such did this, such and such did that. And I would always say, well, what did you do? Right? Like that's always been my focus. It's okay. All right. I get that you spit in my face, but what did I do after you spit? After you spit in my face, what did I do? Right? I get that, you got into a fight because, let's say you bumped into me, but what did I do to invite that type of behavior into my life, right? Like that's the type of person that I am. So, but when it comes to Emmett Till, I can't talk to Emmett and say, well, what did you do? Right? Because you're a boy, you're a 13-year-old boy, you're a 12-year-old boy, right? You're a 14-year-old boy. And like, it's nothing that Emmett can say, well, I did this, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have did that. Because, like, come on. I mean, he was like brutally murdered. So I can't say, what did you do? Nah, dog. Like, yo, the white woman. What did you do? Okay? Like, yo, you caused this child's death. Right? Like you caused this child's death. And it's so crazy because, like in this country, you don't get, especially when you're black, you don't get a long time to be a boy, to be like a true boy, right? It's like, so all right, you're perceived as harmless. Like at a certain age, at a certain size, that goes away, and society no longer cares how old you are. And we can look and see this in a wide facet of things, but that's not really the issue because I ultimately believe that any person, that any society would do this. Like, this isn't just exclusive to color or exclusive to race, quote unquote race, right? This isn't exclusive to visual variation. Like, nah. This is human nature, right? This is who we are as humans, right? But we're talking about lies, so it was printed that this woman said, well, he didn't, because I think the thing was, I think he whistled at her, and he whistled, and maybe he said something, right? So on our deathbed, this is how, I heard the story the first time anyway. So on her deathbed, she says, well, it wasn't, whatever he did, right? Whatever he did, it wasn't enough. He didn't deserve to die. Right? So it was like a deathbed confession. So this is on her deathbed. This is how I heard it, years ago. Like, let's say 2 years, or this was definitely, I heard it before COVID. Right? So this is how I heard it on her deathbed. She said that, it wasn't enough for him to lose his life, whatever he did, right? But it was definitely like kind of leading to maybe she lied, not even maybe, that she lied about what happened, and that whatever it was, like he didn't deserve to lose his life, right? So this is up until now, like that's what I believe. But watching the documentary, because I heard it secondhand, it's like the telephone game, right? I heard it on her deathbed. She says, Emmett didn't deserve to die. Whatever he said, it wasn't that bad. So that's what I believed, right? Watching this documentary, this is how it actually happened. There was a journalist, a white journalist, because black people, there were black journalists that were trying to interview her, and she never took any of those interviews. So then we get a white journalist. White journalist goes in and meets with her. He meets with her, and they're having cake, they're enjoying themselves or whatever. And then they get around to the Emmett Till story, right? Which she knew that, okay, this is why he's coming. But she takes the interview or whatever, the meeting. And in there, that's when she says her statement that, whatever he said, it wasn't enough for him to die, right? So he shouldn't have died, and when he was murdered, like it was no justice for that. There's no justice. So that's all that I'm adding all of that, but the quote, right, or whatever we believe her to say is, what she said on her deathbed. Then the journalist, he publishes the information, and then the FBI or the CIA and the motherfucking God president, right? So shout out to Nas. So they are trying to put a case together, because the family, they still want justice, because the people who actually killed Emmett Till was never convicted, right? They died free. They never were convicted or did time for the murder, right? So the FBI, they're still, even today, right, or during that time, they were trying to build a case. I guess they were going to, maybe even charge him in death or something like that, right? So with this journalist, now that he has this quote of the lady saying that, whatever he said wasn't enough, but like, even that, come on, whatever he said wasn't enough, he just said something, right? Whatever he said or whatever he did, it wasn't enough for him to lose his life. Like, come on. If you're building, you're going to try to build a case. If she says that, if that is what she said, then now we got room for a case, and we can go ahead and hold the dead accountable, right? Then she recants her statement. But see, this is where, like, look, man, I can't take that statement as she said it. I can't say that she said it. If publicly she says, I didn't say that, she knew that she was taking this interview, right? She knew this was going to be published. Like, this isn't, and then she says that I didn't say it, right? Well, then no, I can't give her credit for saying that she said it just because some white journalist said, yeah, she said it. Because remember, we're talking about lies, right? What this is, and look, I'm not here to determine who is lying. I just know that there is a lie, and that people will do whatever to keep the lie going. Like, we just love it. We love lies. We love it. And it's so crazy. I mean, because we chastise our kids. Don't lie. Don't lie. But But we're lying to them every day. Like the government is lying to them. Companies are lying to them. Like they're surrounded by lies, right? This whole thing is built on a lie. And Joe Rogan, he saw that and was like, yo. And see, I question, like even now, like extraterrestrials, aliens, all of that. It's a lie. And is it true, right? Could there be aliens out there? Yeah, there could be aliens out there. I'm not saying that life didn't pop up on another planet, right? I'm sure that it has, but the things that we see on this planet, the evidence, right? When we start to look for evidence of aliens, of extraterrestrials, those are all man-made. Because Big Lie is about control. Like, that's just what it is. People want to control other people. Like that's just what it is. Right? So whether it's personal gain or just to go along, you don't want to buck the system. You don't want to, ruin tradition. I mean, just think about all of the things that we expose the youth to. And just all of the lies, right? Now, when we talk about extraterrestrials, it's like we talk about aliens. One of the big things or just one of the attributes of being a human, I would say, is to conquer other species, to dominate other species, right? And we like if something can be on the endangered species list, like we feel more comfortable with that than the polar extreme. So if there's a bear, like I think maybe polar bears are now endangered, right? It's like we like that because let's say they weren't and they were just thriving. I mean, just killing people. Well, then there's a problem then, right? Look, man, we gotta get those numbers down, right? So it's like they're in, the grizzly bear is in a small part of the world that really doesn't affect us. So they're allowed to carry on their existence. But at any point, if they started to come over into our what we got going on, they start to, come into our house and sit in our sofa, they start to break the sofa, they break our bed, they eat our porridge. Well, then they're raising their hand to be on the endangered species list, right? And people will get behind that. I mean, it's not even crazy. That's just human. That's just human nature, right? So to think of an alien and especially to think of superior technology, right? Now, see, the thing with humans is that there is no superior and inferior with humans. Like, there is none. Like, it doesn't exist. But with a different species, well, yeah, it would exist then, right? Because it doesn't matter if a Asian man or a Mexican woman, bonita. That was sexist, I'm sure. But any race of a person, right, does some type of accomplishment. Well, that's the whole human race gets to celebrate in that accomplishment. The whole human race. This is not only this is nah everybody. This is the fastest human. No matter what the race is the fastest human, the smartest human, the highest IQ. Right, is the highest IQ. Right, so but once you start to get into different species, well, then there is a superiority and an inferiority. So, if an intelligent, a superior species came to this planet, right, and made themselves aware on this planet, right, made us aware that they are superior. Like, no, the human mind could not accept that. Right? I mean, we've been the apex predator since anyone who was listening to this has been listening to this. Right? Like, I mean, we've been that. We're only rivaled by ourselves. So to have that awareness, well, that becomes a problem. So other governments know this. So when an alien is presented, it's okay, we have power over. So if I can create the alien, right, that has superior technology, that has superior this and superior that, well, then I can control the people, right? Because it's just a puppet, and people will fall for it. And look, this is just human nature, right? Like, because humans are social. We're social animals. But not all creatures are social. But it's hard for us to think of something not being social, right? It's hard for us to think that anything that's superior to us, it has to be a social creature, right? It cannot be superior and not be social and be a social entity, right? Because that's what we know. That's all that we know. So all of our creatures, all of our aliens, like as far as movies, they're all like invaders anyway. All of our invaders are all from the hive mentality, right? And that's just for movie, just for plot armor. Look, we need to build in a special button in this villain, so that we can easily beat them, easily disperse, and easily dispatch. But what it does is it actually cripples us to the possibility, right? It cripples us to possibility. And so it's just like in a fighting game. If a person, let's say we're playing Street Fighter, and a person only does the Hadouken, right? He only does the Hadouken. And let's say he does the Hadouken and he uses the Hurricane Kick. So then you think, well, look, whenever he does the Hadouken, we could just jump over him. We just jump over him. We jump over the Hadouken. Right? But in actuality, like, there's a Dragon Punch. And that Dragon Punch in Street Fighter 2 had an invincible quality to it, so that you could do it. Like you could just mash out the dragon punch in certain situations, no matter what your opponent was doing. The dragon punch would always beat it out. And I believe that you could even dragon punch through certain moves, right? You could do a dragon punch and it would go through, like maybe it would go through a projectile, right? So once you see the dragon punch, well, now you can account for it in your strategy against it. You can say, okay, well, if he does the fireball and then I go to jump directly and I do a long jump towards him, well, then he's going to do the dragon punch, right? So now you can say, okay, if I get him to do the dragon punch before I actually reach him and I hit the ground, well, then I have time to capitalize on that, right? So the alien, when we show these stories in movies where the alien is defeated by just a one button, just, boom, you just shut down that. You cut the head off and then the snake dies, right? We do that, well, then we're actually lying. Like, we're keeping a lie going. We're lying to the public, right? We're lying to the people that we're presenting this to. It's just like terrorism. It's like, okay, after all these movies we've been watching, this is, terrorism in America, right? Terrorism in America. It didn't come, right? Like, we had one incident, and of course we have stuff on our soil that's happening. What is it? I don't know if they call it friendly terrorism, but we have domestic, right? People who were born in this country and it's not like they're from somewhere else and they have a different idea, right? We have that, but in all of our Rambo movies and different Sly Stone and different Schwarzenegger and all of the other action heroes that's come before, it's like once the evil leader has been demolished, then boom, it's over now, right? But what we find out with terrorism and on a global scale is that it doesn't end, right? Because for one, it's like we're not really going after the true leader, right? We're not really cutting off the true head, because we're looking at a lie, right? Again, here's that lie. Who we believe is the leader. So when we go after that person and we take down that person, we take down that regime, then how come nothing happened? Because that was just a decoy. Right? That was just a decoy. And it's like, because the truth of the true enemy, right? The person who is truly funding this, well, someone deems that as, look, man, that's just too much for the people to bear, to understand, and to know that all of these lives that were lost were really just over a barbershop argument, right? And now they're cool now. Well, all these lives were lost. What about justice? I mean, look, it's just us. Right? Like, that's the truth. But the government is like, nah, we can't really tell people that. We can't really say that is the truth. Right? When you think about all your little spouts and spats with different gangs, right? Some of you who grew up like that. I feel like, look, this is the human way. So everyone, it's not even some. It's just different levels. But every human being on this planet has had opposition from another group of humans. Right? Has faced resistance, has faced, we don't like them, we're gonna beat them, right? Even if it's just a game of football, even if it's just a game of kickball. All right, we're talking about on a very basic level. It's just there's always been a group A, a group B, a group C. Like even in preschool, you're in Miss Johnson's class. You're a part of Miss Johnson. That's your gang. It's the Miss Johnson gang. And then over there is the Miss Williams gang, right? That's the Miss, and y'all competing. Who's getting who's the better class? Right? Who has the better class? So that's always happening. But just imagine that, okay, you find out that, all right, that your brothers who dying out here, just imagine to find out that the people at the very top are friends. And they had a little spout, right? They had a little problem, a little issue, but like they see each other all the time. And is not on site. Like a person knows who that person is and knows where he lives, know where his mom lives, and know where and then they see each other. They actually just had lunch earlier. Is not on site. I mean, just imagine that if you knew that, then it's like, well, man, if you knew that, then you would say, well, what the hell are we doing then? That's what you would say. You would say, well, what the hell are we doing? If y'all are friends, if y'all out here having a good time, well then what the hell? That's what you would say. And then it would force you to realize that, look, this dance is just a dance, and they're like, they're fine. Or the opposite, that, look, this is between y'all two. Why don't y'all two handle this? Why don't y'all handle this yourselves? Right? Like, why are all of these, if you think about like, what is it? I think it's aristocracy. But I'm not really sure if it's pronounced that way. Like I would have to read it, and I don't have my phone near me to Google it. But like, I know it's just the system of like aristocrats, right? Or monarchy, like kings, and I think all of that is labeled under the same thing. So you have when France is fighting wherever, right? And they're fighting for whatever. They're fighting for a resource. They're fighting for this. They're fighting for that. And it's like all of these lives are lost, but for what? And it's not for what the people believes, because what the people believe is just a lie. And it's like it really is crazy if you really sit and think about the extent that people will go to keep and conceal a lie. Like it really is, right? We just talking about Emmett Till, and ultimately we know, but see, even if we really examined it, right? We really examined it, and we just put in human behavior, we can get to the crux of actually what happened. right? And like I said, we've all, like, it's not okay when you grew up in the roughest part of the country. Nah, you can grow up in the best part of the country. And it's still going to be the same type of thing, but it's just on a different scale, but it's the same principle. So as opposed to, are y'all getting the highest grade, or y'all are this is Mr. Weather's class? Like, nah, it's just neighborhoods, and now we got violence. So that's all that's replaced. We have a football team, and we have these different teams throughout the nation, and we split them up. We divide them into two parts, and then those two parts, we divide those in to other parts, right? And then so Group A has 7 to 10 subs, and then Group B has 7 to 10 subs, and Group A subs play each other and dwindle down to 1, and then Group B, all of their subs play each other and dwindle down to 1, and then that final one from Group A, the best from Group A and the best from Group B finally faces off to see who is the very best, right? Like that model. That model is just consistent throughout human. I don't know which point I left off because I had to leave. I had to go pick up my daughter's medicine. So, but all in all, we were talking about lies, and we'll go into one of the lies that I was told very early, right? So y'all know, I think I said this. I don't know my biological father. I've never met him, and I remember being a young tyke, right? Probably had to been around 6 or 7, right? Let's just put it around 6 to 8, right? We'll give it 2 year. But it could have been early, because the way I label my time on East, like, so I was born South Baltimore and raised in South Baltimore until I want to say it was like now I could easily find out because I have living cousins who were old enough to know, okay, this is the year that it happened, right? So I think I'll ask my cousin, but without knowing, just based off of memory and just judging things, because I usually judge time based off of school, right? So I remember kindergarten, I want to say that would have been, I think you're 6, because I think you're 7 in the first grade. And the way my birthday falls, it's before the year, right? It's before the school year starts. So I believe that, I'm right on time. So first grade is 7. Kindergarten would be 6. And then before that is 5, right? So before school, all of my memories and my thoughts are all bunched together, right? Like there is no, okay, this is the year. It's it's 1984. Like I don't know that, right? So before school, I'm not really aware of time, and that's just it's crazy. We can go off on a tangent because we can, right? But it's just crazy how organization and system it allows you to track and to be to actually lock down a time. So before that, right? If you don't have school, and so you can't track, okay, this is first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, right? If you can't track that and you don't have a calendar, then like time is it's crazy. It's just one long day, right? But once we start to add these hyper systems, these hyper realities, then it makes it easier for us to track time. So before the hyper reality, it was boom. I don't know. Like I do know that some of my cousins that were my age they were going to Head Start. So this is before kindergarten. I remember and I would have to say that that's like, I'm like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember I wanted to go to school, right? Because all of, my cousins, all my siblings, they are gone. Like, yo, they gone. Where they at? Where they at? Like, yo, they in Head Start. They're in this, they're in that. It's like, man, I want to go. How come I'm not in that shit? Right? So I remember wanting to go to school, right? Just because it's like, yo, they get to go to school. So kindergarten, I was in Carter G. Woodson. I want to say that that's 160. I'm not really sure the number because I haven't thought about it in so long. But I want to say that it was 160, Carter G. Woodson. Now, I remember at the while still, so we moved to East Baltimore during the school year. So it was probably towards the end of the school year because I remember actually still going to South Baltimore to go to school. And I remember walking, right? We had to walk. And that's so crazy. Like, but I remember walking to school and walking home with my dad, right? My biological father, I don't know, right? But my dad, he was there. He's been there probably, I would say, since I was about 4 or 5, right? But remember, like I remember my first memory of him, right, coming into our life, but I don't know how old I was because this is before school, right? This is before school, so it's so it's hard to tell. And like I remember, we used to live on Robb Street, and I just remember the name, and I remember there was a coat. There was like he had like a black furry type of coat, and I remember thinking it was like a panther, right? And we had like a panther. I don't even know where. I know eventually we had like a panther painting. So I don't know if I thought that was a panther because of that painting, or if I thought it was a panther and then eventually we got the painting. Like, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. But I remember us living on Robb Street but again, because I don't have a way to track the time. I don't know what year and I don't know how long. I don't know how long we lived on Robb Street. But I remember we lived on Robb Street. And I also remember later on in life. So this is like I said, so Robb Street, I had to have been around maybe 4 or 5, right? So let's just put us around 3, 4, or 5, right? So everything is always 2 years, right? Just give or take. So 3, so I'm 3 years old, right? Between 3 to 5, I'm living on Robb Street. But see, I don't remember if we was living on Robb Street and I was going to that school, right? That's where the memory starts to get fuzzy. Is once you start to like really try to put it in some type of chronological order without awareness of a calendar and the dates and the years, right? As a young tyke, that's where it becomes challenging, right? But I have all of these memories, and So, he was definitely there. Like I said, taking me to school and things like that. But on East Baltimore, I remember because our kitchen and our bathtub, like our bathroom, right? I remember those very, very clear. Like they're very clear in my mind, like what they look like, and that like when you looked out the windows, right? I remember the views. So my room, which I didn't stay in, there long, because I was afraid of the dark. I guess I was afraid of being by myself, and who knows where that comes from. But like I just with my own kids, like they were in their rooms from the beginning, right? I mean, all right, as babies, okay, but as soon as I don't know at what point, but like it was, I don't know if it was a year, if it was, I think it was like a year, right? So like a year, boom, they was in their rooms, right? So they've always had a room. But me, when me growing up, like I remember Caroline Street, I was in my parents' room. I just slept in my parents' room. I slept on the couch in their room. And it's just it's just crazy. So I remember that. The East Baltimore, I remember that very clear. So we got so it was East Baltimore, and I was asking about, my biological father, right? My real father. I don't even know why. I asked about him. I can't even remember why, but I don't even think I even asked about him. To be honest, like we just look, man, we just roll back the tape, right? I don't even think I even asked about him. I think that my dad just told me, right? So he told me, he said that he killed him, that he killed himself, right? So that now I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've talked about this on this podcast. I'm not really sure. I mean, but I have 8 fingers, 4 fingers on each hand. And so maybe the story, it was about, maybe I asked that. Maybe, why I got 8 fingers, right? So I think maybe that makes more sense because as a kid, like you're going to get teased. I'm not even going to say teased, but maybe you're going to get teased because I would have had to have asked, because maybe they asked me, right? Maybe my peers, the young tykes, asked me, "Yo, Bo, why you got 8 fingers?" I don't know. Let me find out. Yo, Dad, Mom, why I got 8 fingers, right? So my dad, he says, you were in a car accident and they had to remove 2 fingers, and your father, right? He was driving, and because he caused this, he couldn't live with the guilt, so he killed himself, right? And then this is, like I said, I'm probably around 6 or 7. Like I know it wasn't like 2nd grade, so I doubt that I was 8. So this is like, it has to be around 6 or 7. And boom, so that's what I believed, right? Like that's what was told to me, that your biological father, he killed himself because he couldn't live with the guilt. And it's like the lie detector determined that that was a lie. Okay. And it's like, I can go on. And on till the break of dawn about different lies. I can go on about different lies, right? That I was told, or that has been told. But I feel like those lies are not mine to expose, right? That's not for me to expose. But this particular one about my father and about the origin, my origin story. I can reveal that one because I'm the one that's really affected by it, right? But other lies that were told that affect other people, like, I'm not going to go into that, because it's not about we just need a truth. We need truth. We need truth and justice. The people of Gotham City, like, oh man, shut the fuck up, man. Like, as you sit here is a lie, right? So that's not the purpose, right? Is to say that, but to understand that lies shape our reality. Okay. Now, if we just look, and I think the same lie for my origin story lie and the Emmett Till lie, it comes from the same place, right? It comes, the person who was giving the lie and the person receiving the lie. So if we look at my origin lie, my origin story lie, it's a little bit of it is for me, but a little bit of it is for the person that the lie is actually protecting, right? And that's how things were done, right? Like, I feel like as we're moving forward and forward and forward, a lot of things, which is good, right? Like, I do agree, and I do believe that is good, that you can't lie as much now. Because, back in the 80s, right? And even you just keep going back, right? I mean, you could leave your family. You could leave your family, go maybe to West Baltimore and start up a new family. And like, so boom, your one family is on East Baltimore, one family on West Baltimore. You can have, like, and Baltimore's not even a big city. Like, it's not even a big city compared to the bigger cities, right? Now, I talked about when I was homeless, like, I could tell the size of a city being homeless. Like, that's because it matters then. It really matters. So I could tell where I couldn't tell before. So New York City, no matter what time it is, downtown Manhattan, people are always out. Like they're always, it's just packed. We're talking like Times Square, right? Times Square, like, it's always packed. People are always out. It's always, I mean, it's just crazy. What is it? Times Square, Grand Central Station, stuff like those places is always packed. People 24/7. Philly, not as much, and in Baltimore, not as much as Philly, right? So it's a big drop. Philadelphia is a huge drop, and then Baltimore is even like a greater drop from Philadelphia. So New York being the pinnacle, being the standard, right? when you get to Baltimore, it's like boom, it's empty. It's like where are the people? Like, where are the people? Like, yo, people not out. And now you're a target. You can be a target for violence and just for any type of like, yo, against the grain behavior. Like, you can be a target for that. But in New York, you can be a target anywhere. But if a person not trying to get caught, they definitely not putting in that work at Times Square. The train stations, the bus station, like they definitely not putting in that work there, because they're gonna get caught, right? And that's one thing that we know about criminals, that for the most part they don't want to get caught, so they can keep doing whatever they're doing. So I believe that we're just talking about, because I lost my train of thought. I guess just in reminiscing about being homeless. But let's see if we can kind of. I don't really think so. Look, it is what it is. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But ultimately, what we're saying is that we're talking about the lies, right? We're just talking about mine and the base, right? So who's being affected? I am, right? I get a story that with some I get the definitive story. Okay, look, we're gonna kill two birds with one stone, and this way you can go on. You can tell your friends and people who want to know, and it helps, or it kind of takes away any type of negative thoughts towards the other party in the lie, right? So I would say that the other party in the lie, it would be, in my origin, it would be my mother, right? So it kind of alleviates my mom some of that tension, some of that, okay, what happened, and it gives me, a story that I can run with, right? Now, when we look at the Till lie, it is mainly used to justify what they did. So we don't know who cooked it up, though. We don't know if she cooked it up. Well, we know that she definitely has a part in it because she told her husband, and I want to say she was working in a store. Maybe she was a clerk. So I don't know. Who knows? But somehow, some way, her husband finds out, and then boom, he goes out and it's like, yo, we're doing this justice. So once it gets to that point, well, then it's okay. We don't know what she told her husband, right? Because the story, okay, he whistled and he did this. I mean, that we don't know if her husband said, well, "Look, say that he did that." You know what I mean? Like you just never know. You just never know. But see, that's the thing about lies. It's like we know the effect. We know what is truth. We can see the truth, but actually, what has been said, that we will never know unless it's recorded. So that's why when I say that, back in the 80s or even in the past, things were, so we was talking about the large scale of the cities, right? So how Baltimore is not even big compared to New York and Philly and Chicago and some of the other bigger cities. But even, Chicago, like the hood area, though, is going to be smaller, I believe, because Baltimore, look, it's a lot of hood. It's just a lot of poverty. I think the poverty reach of it is greater, right? And that's what I would say for compared to any of the cities, because when I speak of Baltimore, I'm not talking about downtown. Now, downtown Baltimore is not going to be as big as downtown New York, but the hood of Baltimore, I don't know. I think it might be bigger, right? Because it's like continuous. It's just, whereas a lot of these places, it's just like a block here. Look, it's just 2 blocks over here, and then you go 3 or several blocks and or over a couple streets and nothing's going on, and then you got another patch that's over here, right? But like, nah, Baltimore is like, yo, it's entrenched, like yo, it's all over, right? And this is during my time. The city has definitely changed since I've been back. But it's easy for a person. It was easier for a person to lie back then. You have several different families. You could have, 2 or 3 families in East Baltimore, and they would never know each other. Like, that's how it was back then. And now, everything was all just speculation. But see, now with the internet and social media, I mean, it's harder to maintain that lie, right? Those type of lies. If you got several families, like, yo, you're gonna be exposed, right? Which, yeah, there's still gonna be some, because everybody's not online, and that's another thing. I mean, once you get on there, there's so many people who like they don't have smartphones. Like, I know people younger than me who do not have a smartphone. They don't have any. They're not on any platforms. Like, yo, look, man. I really like the '90s, and I'm just gonna pretend that it's the '90s. Like, yo, they don't have Cash App. Yo, man, yo, Bo, can you send me some money? Like, yo, send you money? What you talking about? Western, what is it? Western Express? What was that? What was that freaking, what is it called? Western Union, I think. Yeah, money, like, that's the way you sent money. I think it was Western Union, and it was something Express. I know it was 2 of them, right? Federal Express, no, that's like FedEx, but I know Western Union was one, but there was another one, because our good friend Derek Kirk, he brought a keyboard on eBay. I think it was like a couple grand, right? Let's say it was $2,000. It was $2,000, $2,000, and he sent it like Western Union, and yeah, they got him. Like, yo, thanks, right? He waiting for the keyboard. Keyboard never came. I mean, look, that's the super hustle. It's so many hustles now. Like, the hustles never stop, right? And people are just like extra layers to remain anonymous. Because I believe that it ended up where his money, look, it was like, yo, there's nothing we can do, right? So eBay didn't reimburse him. I guess whatever type of whatever investigation, it didn't lead anywhere. So, yo, he just out 2 bands. Look, man, you out. So that now, you can get like a VPN. There's certain things like, yo, it's a way, right, to remain anonymous, but still, you still have to really go searching for it. You really have to. I mean, whereas back then, boom. I mean, one layer, right? So I think that's how it was back then in the past, and that's with everything though, because it's just a lie-driven reality. Hyper reality is just a lie. It's just so of course you're gonna have little small lies in everything. Little small lies here and there, right? And it just goes to the point of Joe Rogan when he was doing his questions, everything. Like, yo, he went in there wanting to believe these stories, but as he got around these people and seeing them and interacting with them, it's like, yo, man, this person is bullshit. like, yo, they just fucking lying. Like, yo, and they not gonna stop. Like, yo, they are not going to stop. Like that lady, the Emmett Till lady, like, yo, she went to death. Like, yo, nah. Because, like, yo, if she recant the story and say, no, I didn't say that, it's like, yo, all right, she's a liar, okay? She's a liar. She lied on Emmett. She lied on Emmett. Like, yo, if Emmett ain't touch you, it's not like, yo, if Emmett ain't touch you, if Emmett wasn't trying to kill you and you just happen to get away, and then the cops, they, at the right when the moment that he was trying to strangle you, they was like, let her go, and your fucking eyes are popping out your head, and then boom, they gunned him down. All right, okay. But, okay, he smacked your butt, like, you know, he like, yo, actually ripped your blouse open and was licking on your chest, like, yo, that still doesn't warrant him getting beat to death, right? So no matter what, he didn't deserve to die. Like, yo, all right, you know, let's have this come to light, and then let's send him back up to where he is and put a record. You know, look, man, this is the type of behavior that this kid, right, is into. And I remember that I know we was talking about before I left about how black boys, we have a small window, and we're no longer perceived as being harmless. We're now a threat, right? Like, we're now a threat, and that's what we seen with Till, and he's just one of many. Of so many that we will never know their name, right? But to actually see the brutality and to see what they did, like, yo, this is crazy, off of a lie, right? And like I was saying with this lady, like, yo, she went to her deathbed with this. I don't even know if she's still alive or not. Like that's just one of those stories that I just can't even look and I can't even look and do the work, the investigative work on it. I just can't because it's just so unsettling, right? Like, anytime I see a kid that's my son's age, like, yo, that could be my son, right? I see a girl that's my son's age, yo, that could be my daughter, right? Now, I do have a daughter, but she's younger. So, you know, I'm just talking about my oldest, and it's like, yo, man, you know? So to think of my son being, you know, 13, 14, and just getting beat to death by some drunk men, or just some men, like, yo, that's sadistic. Like, what? Like, I just can't imagine that. I just can't. Like, man, that is crazy, and that's all off of a lie. And the lie, really, I mean, really, at this point, it doesn't even matter. This is just what these guys wanted to do. This is just what these guys wanted to do. They just use this lie as a, you know, look, this is the after effects so that we don't go to jail, or we don't get punished. Right? So when we look at society, we look at aliens, right? We just, from the observable reality, government wants power. People want power. Like, that hasn't changed. It's being played out now. They have so many, like, the Soviets, China, other nations, they come over here and they create, and they don't even come, you don't even have to be here, right? You can create, because like we said, there's VPNs, there's so many different levels of, to not be detected. And even if you are detected, it doesn't matter. And we'll get into that in next week's episode when we talk about the Joker. And we look at what he stood for, and we look at how come, without plot armor, right? Because a movie is going to give character's plot armor. And that's what protects them. Like Batman is protected solely by plot armor. And like that's it. And in the comic books and anything, like, yo, he's only protected by plot armor. Like, yo, that functioning the way that he functions, that just can't happen. Batman can never exist because of reality. But the villains actually, and that's the crazy thing, is that the villains, they can exist, and they do exist. Like, they do exist. Like, it's crazy, right? But some of the things they can't because of plot armor. That's the only reason why they are alive, is because of plot armor. Plot armor, gives them certain characteristics that their main characteristic cannot achieve, and we'll get into that type of stuff, right? In the next episode, but we're just talking about government wanting to control. Like that's what it does. It wants to control because in control lies the foundation of, okay, this is what it is. This is the reality of it. Now, without control, then anyone can just come and change it. Anyone, look, if I want some money, I can break the rules that's been established, and now I can get the money, right? But we know that money protects, the people in power protect their power. They set up different rules and different things to protect their power, right? And they set up laws. So you have these other governments that will, like I said, create accounts on social media to stir up trouble, to stir up conflict within the group. So to stir up conflict within America. You'll have, and it's been reported, it's been documented, right? Now, when I say it's been documented, like I'm going to have to actually watch, and that's what I should have did. I should have watched some of these like cell phone farms where they have, and it's available for people to actually watch and to see. So I'm trying to see where my phone is. It might be over in my pocket over there, so I don't have it on me because I would have just cracked it open and queued it up so that I can actually see, right? I can actually see this. We saw the field with our own eyes, Neo. Like humans are no longer born; they're grown. Like, right? Which, man, that original Matrix trilogy, man, it was good. Especially compared to this new one, this new Resurrection. I think it's Resurrection. Yeah, it's it was, but I'm still gonna buy it. I'm still gonna buy it and watch it. Like I said, there was some good elements in it that I liked. Some things that I didn't like, but I'm definitely gonna buy it and watch it. Right, but there are, other countries, they have these, and even in this country, it's not even just the other countries, but it's a way to control, right? Other parties will do this. It doesn't matter. This is just human nature. Create conflict, right? Create division amongst the people, and then that way they can benefit from it. Right? So in doing that, they're lying. They're lying to the people. They're lying to the public. And government's been doing this for a long time. So when we see the government and when we see the government acknowledge greater technology, then we have to say that I have to believe that it's another government just trying to get like the Caesar Christ effect, right? And what is it? Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, there's a scene where the monkey Caesar, he goes up into space. I think he's lost in space first, and then Mark Wahlberg gets he goes through the little portal second, right? And I haven't seen the movie since it came out, so who knows what year that was? Which I really didn't. I didn't think it was a bad movie. Actually, I might have to look at the runtime on it and pick it up next time. If I get it for like $5 or whatever, I'll pick it up. But in that, there's a scene where they're in this great war and they're having a war. Humans and the monkeys are at war, and out of the sky comes Caesar, the original, little chimp. Little baby chimp, because once they get teens, then things change. Back in the days when niggas had waves, Gaselli shades and corn braids, right? So so he comes down, adolescent young baby monk, and the war stops for a little bit, right? They're like, oh, it's Caesar. He's coming down, right? We have prophesied it. This is the prophecy, right? So they stop. They stop war, right? So that they can watch and marvel at this. And I think that's the idea, is that boom, we have this alien comes down and it's like. It's televised. Everyone's watching, and he just comes down, lands wherever in Washington. He lands in Washington, and it's like music playing. They got the band, and the red carpet, and he just slimes his way down, and that's. Then he speaks something of wisdom, like peace, and everyone yells or something. So we're all clapping, and somebody just tries to shoot him in his head, like oh man, So that's the idea that we have, but in actuality, I think that other governments, including ours, within even ourselves, not even just that it's some other government, but I feel like other governments are trying this on their own, right? They're trying this on their own people. So you'll see it in videos like Ukraine, videos. You got Africa, you got the big abduction, whatever in Africa. You got all of this stuff that's going around. So I think what you're actually seeing is that the government is trying to install fear in their own kind. So it's not the Chinese government is trying to install fear in America. Like they have another way that they're trying to, topple America, the United States, right? Russia has another way that it's trying to topple the United States. The Middle East has another way that it's trying to topple the United States. So it's not, we're just going to do this and bring some, let's, introduce some aliens, and then that way we can act like we are the aliens, because that was the plan before, right? That was the plan, so that was the plan, but it was more, look, let us, if we say that we found the aircraft, or we found the alien, then everyone across the world will be like, they have advanced, superior technology. What did they learn from those aliens? What did they learn from the recovery? They have special knowledge that we don't have, right? So that's where the lie is for other nations, but for the actual nation, it's to install fear. And ultimately you give, because with that, it's just like Corona, just like the, COVID-19. Once you have fear, then you can start to pass different laws. And that's not to say that COVID isn't killing, because, what's the saying? There's a real tragedy if no one becomes rich off of a tragedy. That's the real tragedy, right? Like, that's the 1% of the 1% saying. Look, there's a real tragedy if no one becomes rich off of a tragedy. So you got 9/11. If nobody didn't become rich off of that one, then that's the tragedy, right? So that's the 1% of the 1% thinking. That's their motto. All right, and that's not like, it's some secret organization. Yeah, there's always. Why? Because look, man, people want power. People want money. Every human being wants it. No, I don't want it. That's why I went off the grid. No. You went off the grid because now you have total and pure power over either yourself or over your family. Right? They have to depend on you. Right? You depend on you. So it's still that power thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just like with the lie, with my origin story lie, like it's nothing wrong with the lie in the sense of, okay, you're trying to give me a story that my young brain could handle, right? But it's like, who's to say that 4 or 5-year-old Bo couldn't handle the truth, right? As unpleasant or as unattractive as that truth may be, who's to say? And it's like, well, your parents. And I agree with that. I agree that, your parents are making decisions. They're playing a long game. They're making decisions to help you. So, look, you got to ride it out. So, all right, my origin story, it was a lie. And I told that lie to a lot of people, right? I believe that it was true, even though, and I remember it was a girl. I actually liked her. And I could say, because I don't, it's nothing negative. It's nothing, it's not like I had sex with her, right? I didn't. So that's usually the people that I try to protect, because you don't know, I don't know what they're telling, their spouse or, look, man, I was a virgin until I met you. Look, that's their lie. Let them have it. Let them have that lie. It doesn't affect me either way for them to say, Bo was the 5th person. Bo was the 1st person. Bo was the 10th person, you feel me, that I had sex with. It doesn't affect me. So whatever they're telling their spouse, it's cool. So boom, their spouse was the 1st. Their spouse was the 1st. You feel me? It's all good. And I know that, some people, they don't want to see, who who was blowing their wife's back out. They don't want to see that. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's how he was blowing her back out, right? They don't want to see that. They don't want to think about that. So I get that, right? But this girl who actually questioned the story, and man, in those questions, actually, her name was Lavelle, and like I said, I really like Lavelle. It's one of those type of likes where growing up, I want to say maybe 5th grade, elementary, I didn't really like her. But I think as we got older and, the changes from God happened, then it was yeah, I like her. She's all right. You feel me? Because now you're starting to look at body. Start looking at the body, and it's she got a nice body. So, but I remember she questioned the story, right? And I never questioned it. I never questioned the story, right? And it's crazy, but I want to say it's probably around maybe 5th or 6th grade. So yeah, it wouldn't have been in 5th grade because we wasn't talking. So it had to have been in 6th grade, right? So 6th grade, like we're actually interacting. Like I'm actually interacting with my classmates. You just have to. It's more because in fifth grade and elementary school, I didn't interact with nobody. Right. I think the weight of my difference, it just weighed so much on me. Like I don't remember. Like I had, I had like two friends. I had Clinton. This is from like first through fifth, right? I had like Clinton and Jermaine. And I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. In sixth grade, that's when I got more, I got more friends and I was interacting with people more, but in elementary, like just first through fifth, I wasn't really interacting with people. And yeah, you cut it up and you talk and clown around with, some classmates, but I remember, it was mainly, it was Clinton and Jermaine. They were like, like the friends I talked to the most. And if I could be in anybody's group, I was going to try to be in their group. And then once I failed, they moved on, right? They moved on. And then I was just behind, right? So, like I said, I didn't really even think about school. Like I just wanted to disappear, right? I was just trying to hide throughout elementary school. I didn't want to be seen at all, right? Because I think then I would have to tell the story again, and it's like, oh man, the origin story, like, right? So, like I said, I never questioned it, but I wasn't really hanging and talking to people like that in elementary. Right now, of course, I had my family, right, that I hung out with out of school, but I'm talking about class and my classmates in class that was in my class. I don't believe that I had any. So around sixth grade comes, sixth or seventh, and she makes a comment and it's like, and it made me question, that story. It was like, but I still didn't really like go into depth and like, look, I'm really going to get to the bottom of this. And I remember actually hearing the actual truth, and it's crazy how this happens, but it was Simon's Quest, Castlevania, right? It's Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. I'm playing, and I remember I beat it because I stayed home one day. It was a school day, and I act like I was sick. So I act like I was sick so that I could stay home and beat Simon's Quest, right? Which I did, and I think that was like the pinnacle of my action adventure game. So I beat Simon's Quest, and I beat Zelda 2, right? I didn't beat the first Zelda like as a kid when it first came out. I didn't beat the first Zelda, and Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden, depending on how you pronounce it. I didn't beat that either. That was my first game actually, and I didn't beat it. I think I made it to maybe the second boss, right? I'm talking about when it first came out. So I didn't beat that, but I beat Simon's Quest, and like, man, that game is so freaking hard. Like, I just can't even imagine how I beat that game, right? It was so complex. Like I just like me as my memory, I just happened to beat it. Like, it's so freaking crazy. And I remember there was a guy that they was previewing in one of those Nintendo Power magazines or one of those magazines. And I remember it was like a map or something. It showed like a map, but it was a preview, so it was shrunk down right? It was shrunk down. And I remember getting like a magnifying glass and actually blowing it up so that I could see it, right? That's just freaking crazy just to think, like, man, as a freaking 8-year-old kid to think of that and to actually be able to read it and interpret it. Right. So that was, it just blows my mind now. Like, I don't believe that I could beat Simon's Quest 2 now, which I might have to play it on stream. Just, just do a playthrough of me just playing it and see, right? Just know nothing. Just look, man, we just playing this thing off the cuff. And it's so crazy because it was like, I remember it was one part where you had to look at a mountain, but you had to look away from the mountain and duck. And maybe, I don't know if a tornado came and took you to another part of the land or whatever, but like, you had to get that from these riddles from the NPCs, right? And like, yo, your boy figured all of that shit out. Like, it is like if I could go back to that 8-year-old kid, like I would definitely hug him, on that one. Like, yo, man, dog, you went in. Like, man, that impressed your future self right there. Like, yo, I think that is one of like my greatest impressive feats to myself. Like that one. I want to say that, yeah, that right there is that's up there. Like, that's my top. Like, that's really my number one, because that's what I think of the most, incredible things that I've done to myself, right? For myself. Like, other people will say other things. Like, I've got compliments throughout my life, but that one, that's the one that I like. So if I could meet myself, like, that is the number one. That's my number one greatest accomplishment, for me, that I look to, like, yo, like, damn, that was genius right there, right? Like, yeah. So I beat it. Like I said, I stayed home and I beat Castlevania 2, right? Just raw, no nothing, just that little shrunk down map. That's all I had, right? And so it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy. So I had that, and then I want to say that maybe there was a social worker. It was like a team of people, right? So it was like, could have been a couple social workers, whatever. And they were interviewing my mother, and I remember that was the first time that I actually saw my mother, like, pretend to be somebody who she's not, right? So when I saw her interact with those people, she was real, like, jovial and just real. I mean, it was just crazy. It was like the fakeness. It was like like a clown, right? And it was, and I remember I remember that day, because, like I said, I mean, it was, the greatest day of my life, my greatest achievement. Beyond any of the A's that I got during my second stint in college, and my degree, and like, just none of that stuff. Like, none of that stuff matters, because I'm following somebody, right? But Simon's Quest, it was, look, this is all on my own, right? This is like a true test of IQ, right? Which I don't even believe in that type of stuff, but I understand it, right? One of the serial killers, it kind of made me understand, like, yo, like, all right, you feel me? And it's not even like the whole great weight, but in certain fields, like, yo, if you picking, all right, if I'm trying to pick a squad, and I'm trying to pick, like, a great whatever type of squad, boom, now we can look at these scores, right? So, so like I said, I remember this clear. And they're there at the house. They're interviewing my mother, and I guess maybe they're closing the case or whatever. Maybe that was when the case was closed. And so I got a chance to actually hear. I got a chance to hear what happened, right? But I think it was overshadowed just because I knew the accomplishment that Simon's Quest 2. I knew the accomplishment. I knew what had happened, right? And I want to say that my next accomplishment would happen with Castlevania as well. And it was on a percent. I think that the highest percent of completion of Castlevania is, I think it's like 209 or something. I mean, I could easily Google it, but I remember I got 214, and I remember I got it, and my good friend Sean, I want to say that I showed Sean, and he was like, "Yo, damn!" And like even till this day, like yo, I want to say that the highest is like 209 or 211 or something like that, but I got like 214, and again, it's just one of those moments where, like, yo, it's something special. I remember a Street Fighter 2, one of those, maybe Super Street Fighter 2. If you beat the game with perfects, nothing but perfects on the hardest level, you got like this special picture, right? So these are, it's like, yo, these are like great achievements that I wish now, because now when you do this type of stuff, you get an achievement for it and you get a plaque. Yo, this is the platinum plaque, right? And it's like, yo, this is, only 1% of all players have this trophy, right? So, it's like, man, I wish I could have took a picture of those moments and just like, boom, here it is, right? So the truth, or some stint of the truth, because like we said with Till, it just gets shaky. Because I remember a good friend, I was telling this to one of my female friends recently, right? And she brought up the point. She's like, what if, how she wasn't lying when she told you that, right? So it's like, man, it's just, you're in a pool of lies. It's like, man, you just got to get out of the pool. You're in a planet of lies. It's not even a pool, right? You're on a planet of lies locked in by gravity. Like, man, like you're not getting out of there. And even if you get out of the planet, you're going to die. So you might as well just, look, man, we in this planet. So just accept it for what it is, right? So when you look at it like that, I mean, it's like, yeah, man, it's crazy. There's so many lies, and you can look throughout your life and realize some of the lies that was told, that you were told, right? People told you some of these lies. So I would say share it in the comments, but I don't have unless you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on the YouTube, definitely comment on those lies. Tell me some lies that you were told, if you can. Like I said, some lies that were told to me that I feel like they're timed. It's just like the Kennedy assassination. There's a time limit on when they can release the truth, because the truth, it just says so much about our nation, right? That they're not trying to release the truth to the people about Kennedy's assassination. And Judge Joe Brown, he brings up that the Martin Luther King assassination, that the guy behind it, that's a lie. That it was actually multiple. It was more than one shooter that was there, and the gun that was recovered was wrong. Like, it was a different gun, right, from the bullet and the trajectory. Like, he was He was actually a presiding judge on that case, right? So, like that past, our past is just shrouded in lies. So, when we come full circle with Joe Rogan and he says, like, yo, man, I want to believe, right? I want to believe in extraterrestrials, but like, yo, man, when I met these people, right? I want to believe in all this other stuff, and Bigfoot and, the Loch Ness Monster and aliens and, just things that we're not seeing. I want to believe in this stuff, but when I actually, went to go meet these people, I mean, they convinced me that, they are lying and that, do not believe anything that they are saying. And that's like, that's reality. So like I said, we got next week. Well, I want to do the dream one. That's really what I wanted to talk to now. This episode, I wanted it to be about dreams. So I think we'll get to that because like I said, I gotta watch The Dark Knight a couple of times so that I can I already know where I'm going. I already know, like, I have everything that I want, but I definitely want to watch at least one time before I speak on it. And I'm gonna insert like some sound bites. So so like that when I'm excited because not just of what I'm gonna talk about, but actually some of the other like helpful things. And I want to, for the dream episode, we are dream warriors. Don't want to dream no more. Right? So, for the Dream Warriors episode, I'm going to compose, I'm going to make a song, right? So, it's going to be a round. So I'm looking forward to that, to the intro song, right? This episode will probably not have an intro song. Maybe it will. We'll see. I mean, I'm not really worried about it too much, but because I did the Biggie cover, Everyday Struggles. So I might not put any song just because I don't want it to seem like whatever that song is, I'm saying that song is a lie, since that's really what we've been talking about, like the great lie. I actually have one, but see, that song is long. Like, I don't want the songs to be too long. But yeah, I think because that song, I'm taking the truth, but I'm making a lie out of the truth, right? To fit the narrative of the song. So I'm saying stuff that happened to me, but it didn't happen to me. So then therefore it is a lie, but it's someone's truth, right? It is a truth to someone, but it's just not my truth, right? So maybe I might use that song. We'll see. But ultimately, I think we'll see, because like I said, the song is long. The song is like 5 minutes long. So I don't know. I think for people like me who just like, look, I'm doing other things, so I just like to listen to, and kind of like a brain exercise. So kind of like a brain exercise. So we'll see. We'll see if I put a song in there, but that is it. Reese's PCs. Oh yeah, on a side note, and again, thank you for the people who, left reviews and any, just people who listen to this. Like I just, I'm just very happy. I am. It does bring joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Down in my heart, I got the joy down in my heart. Right. So I definitely feel good. Knowing that somebody is listening, so I'm definitely grateful for all of you guys who listen, and definitely thank you a lot. And again, the repeat of Reese's Pieces.